Hello and welcome to my first progress video. I just started learning Mandarin about a month ago, so I thought it might be a fun idea to make a monthly progress video to track how I've been learning, go over kind of what techniques I've been using, what challenges I'm facing, and what I'm planning on working on next. And it might be fun too to just have this kind of video trail of me starting from absolute beginner to hopefully some degree of fluency in the nearish future. So I'm learning the version of Mandarin Chinese that is spoken in Taiwan specifically. So I'm working with Zhuyin instead of pinyin for the writing or for input, I guess, at least on my phone. I don't have a keyboard that can do that. Well, it can do that, but it doesn't have the keys, so it's a bit hard. So maybe I'll do pinyin if I type on the computer. But yeah, that, and I'm not working with simplified characters. I'll be working with the traditional ones. So, you know, a couple of differences between that and what is used in the mainland. But yeah, I started with Zhuyin, and to do this, I guess I started with I found a YouTuber, Grace Mandarin, who has some really great videos introducing a lot of concepts in Mandarin. But specifically, she had a video on Bopomofo or Zhuyin, and it was basically just a video with every Bopomofo character and their pronunciation. So I took audio from that and I turned it into an Anki deck. I also went to some of her pronunciation videos and included some like tongue placement diagrams in there to kind of help me with pronunciation, because the sounds can be subtly different, and having that kind of helps me get some of that mouth muscle memory. So I want to pull up that. So here is my phone, and I've already learned all of the Zhuyin. So what I can do here is I can just kind of open up a card and just show you what it looks like. So this one would be for P. So let's see, get it in focus here. It's not totally in focus, but I'll show the answer. It shows a little diagram. See if I can get it to focus. I don't have, this camera just auto focuses, so it'll do what it wants to do. But I've got the pinyin, the IPA pronunciation, and then this showing kind of how to pronounce it, as well as the audio from the video. So you probably can barely hear that. Maybe I'll just like crank the volume here. Pa. Pa. So I can kind of do that and, you know, see if I still remembered it, which at this point I do. And so once I did that, I decided that I wanted to kind of start learning vocab. So I just wanted to kind of get a core vocab deck. And I had a friend that shared with me a deck from the Refold course that a Refold course, I don't know, the Matt versus Japan, because there was also a Mandarin version of it, of their core 1000. So he shared me that deck and I kind of modified it to be my own variant of it. So I used the traditional characters, which were included, but I also generated Zhuyin for all of the words, which ended up kind of complicating it a bit, because there's a lot of variance in how they're pronounced, like the different tones depending on the words. You know, maybe something like, I think dad was ba ba. So it's like the first ba is the descending tone. Think that's tone, whichever. I'm not good at numbering the tones yet. But the descending tone and then the neutral tone on the second ba. But the generator did both descending tone, because that character on its own would probably just have the descending tone. So I have to kind of fix those as I'm going along, but there's pinyin included in the deck, so I'm kind of looking at the pinyin and comparing it. That said, there are a bunch of differences in Mandarin spoken in Taiwan versus China. So I kind of also look up in the dictionary. So I guess I can share that as well. So I have Pleco, and I have a dictionary installed. It's Chinese to Chinese for this version here, but what this does is I can't really read the Chinese to Chinese description, but I know that this one up here, which maybe it'll focus at some point, it shows the Taiwanese pronunciation, and this is the mainland if there's a difference. So this one is for husband, it's what is that? 丈夫 for Taiwan, but in mainland it's got the neutral tone on the second character, so it would be like 丈夫 or something like that, or 丈夫. So that's kind of one of the challenges where I sometimes have to update the Zhuyin in the deck to match with that. So that's kind of another little challenge that I'm facing with that. But yeah, essentially, like I'll see these characters. So this would be like my first time seeing this character. So I will see the character, I'll see an example sentence, and then I'll try to see if I can remember what the pronunciation is by spelling it out here. So if I remember, this is, I want to say man, but I don't remember what the pitch accent is. This is first time seeing it. So I will type, is it man? We'll see. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. I want to say it does that. So it will do that. So it's man, not mang. And it goes down, not up. So I got it wrong. So I'll say it again. But there's also pronunciation. So it came with pronunciation included. Man. But this is a mainland speaker. So what I actually did was I used Microsoft Azure to generate AI text-to-speech using one of the Taiwanese voices. So,
慢，他们走得很慢。
so I have a few, and then
他们走得很慢。
so that's like a slowed down version. So I kind of use that to help me. I know that text-to-speech is not perfect, but I think it's going to help me at least a little bit in the beginning, and then once I start trying to do shadowing from actual native speech, I'll make improvements in my accent from there. But I think, this should be correct, like the pronunciation of the characters should be correct, but maybe some of the intonation over a whole sentence might be off in a couple spots. Or there was another thing where I know the word for and, I believe, is he in mainland, but it's han in Taiwan, and I believe the AI generated he for the Taiwanese voice anyway. So I'll kind of get a feel for how that goes when I start trying to learn from actual native speech. But right now I'm just kind of getting that fundamental base vocab so that I can actually start trying to dig into some native materials and hopefully accelerate my learning from there. But yeah, so I use that to type. And then the second time that I see a word, which would be the next day after I see that character, I'll see the English definition, and then I'll type out the Hanzi. So yeah, that's kind of been my study process so far. I'm also I'll share my screen a little bit. A little bit of grammar. I'm not really too deep into it just yet, but I'm using this website. I think probably anybody that's started learning Chinese has come across this website at some point. It does have simplified characters on it, so I used this extension here to convert everything into traditional characters so that I can recognize it. And then I also have one of those kind of hover over things for it to kind of get the pronunciation of any unknown character and the meaning. And it has the Zhuyin as well with it. So, but this is just kind of basic grammar. And after I kind of get a hold of this, which it's actually not too difficult, but once I get a hold of that, I'll go into the A1 and try to start looking at those grammar points, and might have to do some more AI voice text to speech stuff. But that I'll probably use this to generate some more cards. Maybe I'll pick a good sentence for each grammar point. So, and the process that I would have for that, you got to turn this off so it doesn't highlight all the text. So let's say I have this sentence, right? Do that. And then if I'm in Anki, I can put that text into here, get rid of any unnecessary spaces. And then if I click, I have this as the male Taiwanese voice and do preview.
我没有问题.
Then it will say the sentence. And again, I like the Microsoft Azure one. I tried the Google one for the neural voices, and the Microsoft one is a bit better, at least in English and Japanese, which are the two languages I have a good ear for at this point. By the way, that's something else I know is Japanese, which is helping me a bit with reading and recognizing some of the characters, because even if the pronunciation is vastly different in many situations, often, especially the traditional characters, are very similar to the characters used in Japanese. So I'm using that to my advantage to at least help me remember meaning when I see something, even if I might not remember the pronunciation right away. And actually, in that example sentence that I just did there, it had the word for problem or question, which in Japanese would be pronounced mondai, but in Mandarin, it's what is it? It's like 1T or something like that. Probably saying it wrong, but yeah. So the things. So some of my other challenges so far is one thing with Zhuyin, which I'm having a lot when I'm typing, and I guess I'll switch back to the phone view, and I'll just pull up let go and try to get the phone to focus. Let's see, focus, come on. So once it focuses, there's something that it's kind of got to do with my Japanese learning here. Okay, great, it's focusing. So several of these Zhuyin resemble katakana, or specifically in like this character is, and this one, the one for this one's de and this one's ke. They resemble the katakana ka sound, and that hasn't tripped me up too much, but this one has, right? This thing right here, this is ti, the Q in pinyin. That looks a lot like ku in Japanese. And a lot of times when I'm typing something that's got a K sound, instead of typing this character next to it, which is the actual K sound, I type this one, and it's wrong. And I kind of forgive myself when I'm doing my Anki cards, but I got to try to get out of that habit. And I'm sure I'll evolve out of that once I start typing more to actual native speakers. But yeah, this looks like set in katakana, and it's really which it's got a similar E sound to it. This looks a lot like he, where it's pronounced a. Again, like I hear a lot of like hey and stuff in Japanese, so maybe I can use that. I use that to help me remember that. This looks like nu, and that's pronounced o. This looks like lu, and it's pronounced r. And then the other thing that always trips me up with Zhuyin is this in Pinyin is represented by an X. This looks like an X, but it represents an U sound. So a lot of times I will type this U sound instead of the Xi sound. So those are some things that I have to be careful. I also often type this so I'll type Z instead of Ji a lot. So it's some habits to break, but I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's not a huge system. It's only 37 characters to remember. It's just I got to get used to separating them in my head from the similar katakana. Another thing that kind of trips me up is I understand the differences, right? There's zhi, shi, chi, zi, si, ci, ji, xi, qi, right? But in your tongue is kind of one of them. It's on kind of your palate. The other one, it's in the top front teeth, and the other one, it's kind of the body of your tongue touching the roof of your mouth a bit. And I understand the differences and can feel the difference and hear the difference, but my tongue isn't used to doing these types of movements. Like, even though sh and shi are different sounds, to my ear, there's still like a distinct sh kind of sh sound to it. So a lot of times when I'm trying to do a pronunciation, I will make a mistake and do the wrong sound. And it's also just kind of hard when there's like a word where it goes from like a ch, like a shi, xi, like shi, xi. I don't know if that's a word. It might be. It's probably a word. But if I'm doing something like that, it's like my mouth moves from one of the sh sounds to the other one, and I'm getting better at it. But it's a work in progress for sure. And the other thing I have trouble with this is just like remembering the tones. I'm sure every Mandarin learner has had that. But, I'm going through my Anki, and it's like I remember all of the I remember all of the, sounds in it. Like if it's Han or Han, I can remember that much, but I don't remember if it goes Han or Han or Han. I'm okay at differentiating them when I hear it, but it's just like remembering it. So in Anki, I'll always just pretend like I got it wrong. Or not pretend, I got it wrong. I will say I got it wrong if I remember the accent incorrectly, or the tone mark incorrectly. So, and I think that's working. It makes my progress a little slower, but it does help me make sure that I'm getting it right. And I'm sure again too, when I actually start interacting with natives and trying to output more, then I will have much more of a feel for it, where I won't have to think about it too much. But we'll see where that leads me. So what am I going to do next? So I'm 1 month in. I know about 200-ish words now that I've studied, and I probably know a little bit more. But the first maybe week and a half was mostly focused on just Zhuyin and getting the Anki deck that my friend shared with me set up for myself. And then, the last couple of weeks have been what I've been, where I've been really drilling the words. My goal is about 15 to 20 words a day. Some days I'm busy and I only have time to do my reviews and not learn some new words. Other days I have extra time and I'll add, another 15 to 20 words. So it just, that I still think that I'm averaging about 15 to 20 new words a day. And I think that's going to help me get through that core 1,000 in roughly 2 months. So hopefully by my 3-month update video, if I keep doing this, then I will have all of the core 1,000 words down, and I'll be struggling to put together sentences and saying them and recalling all of those 1,000 words that I've learned. And I also do need to kind of work more on grammar. I haven't really done any grammar. I just kind of, if I'm looking at an example sentence on one of the Anki cards, I might remember some of the word syntax order, and I might, try making a sentence by replacing one of those words with another one. But I'd like to get a deeper understanding. I am a big proponent of learning grammar more just through, imitation. And so, once I start interacting with natives, I'll see how they say something and I'll try to do that. That worked for me really well in Japanese. But at the same time, I am still looking up grammar points to see kind of what the nuance is, especially if it's something I haven't seen before. And, and I'm not necessarily making Anki cards for every grammar point and drilling the detailed technical explanation. But, I'm at least aware of maybe when it might be used or what nuance it conveys, so that when I start trying to use it or when I see somebody use it, I'm not totally just like a baby learning by imitation. But yeah, I do need to learn some of the basic sentence syntax and kind of see how people say things and put sentences and words together to make ideas that other people understand. And yeah, the other thing I just want to do is make new friends with native speakers. I'm on Hello Talk, and I've already met a few really, really helpful people that have been supportive of me, even though I can't use anything. I haven't written anything really in Mandarin yet. But I'll ask questions, or maybe I'll be like, why is the word for why is that spelled like shui in the Zhuyin, and it sounds more like shay. And then I found out, it's because in Taiwan they actually say it shay. So I can ask questions about things that I'm unsure of, especially about pronunciation at the moment. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the progress that I make. I'll probably make another one of these videos at the end of next month. I think I started like the last week of May, but we'll just say that I started for real June 1st, 2022, if you want to put a date on it. And I'll try to make an update video like the last week or so-ish of every month. And yeah, see how it goes. So thanks for watching, and hopefully you stick around for others if you're interested in watching my progress. I might also do some videos about Japanese, because I feel like I can speak that now, and I'm at a point where I need to build my vocabulary beyond just regular daily conversation. So maybe I'll do some Japanese things too. Probably not a monthly progress at this point, but something. I don't know. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and maybe see you in the next one.